Game loaded.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Lessons Learned with your host, Rafael Piñero. 2 weeks ago, the video game world was a flutter with E3. All the great announcements, all the CGI trailers, all the good stuff that was going to come to us somewhere down the line, somewhere. Maybe, right? The hype train just roared out of the station and it just barreled through down the rails, right? But surprisingly enough, it came to a screeching halt the next week when one of the most hyped games of the year, the latest version of the Batman Arkham series, crashed and burned on PC. Basically, it was garbage. And why am I talking about this? It's very simple. It highlights all the things I've been saying about the hype train, the patching culture, and access versus ownership. It brings it all together in a very beautiful, perfect picture. Why is that? Well, you have the hype train on E3. All the promises, all the possibilities, all the nostalgia and everything else. Then you have the reality that when that hype train reaches the station, in this case, PC users through Steam, it's much to do about nothing. You have a culture that in fact says, we can always fix it later. We can always give you something later. And not only that, we're not even selling you a product. We're selling you access to an experience. Well, guess what? People paid for access for an experience. They didn't get it. And they treated it as a product and said to Steam, who finally has a refund policy, hey, we want our money back. And here it crystallizes the situation where if companies that keep treating their products as just a doorway to endless cash through pre-ordering, DLC, and microtransactions, instead of a product that needs to be finished on time, at least with minimal functionality, will in fact pay a price for it. Because it also shows the fact that players are not merely players, they're consumers. And when they get dicked around, they will act as consumers. They will ask for their rights. That ownership is superior to rental and superior to merely access. And to Steam, that in fact having a bit of curation, or not so much curation, but certainly viable policies that everyone else has, like refunds, makes wonderful sense. I'm sure that a lot of people are now considering Steam to be even better than before, and not simply for the cheap prices, but also the fact that if you get screwed, you can, get your money back, right? Now, the problem with all this, and this is where it might fail, is that you might see people going back and rebuying this game once it's re-released, right? Or keeping their copies, waiting for the patch or patches that may never come. If people do that, if gamers do that, then they're encouraging the patching culture. My advice, and I'm an old curmudgeon when it comes to these things, right? I'm gonna, do this or do that. Yes or no. Very bright lines. If you get screwed over by a company, especially over a specific product, don't buy it. If a product comes out as a piece of total trash, no amount of DLC, no amount of patching will make it better because it was trash. Right? At some point, we have to decide that we want and need finished products. And this probably is the litmus test for that. So if players, especially PC players, stick to their guns and say, you know what, we might be willing to wait for your next game, but this one is dead on arrival, and we're not going to revive it no matter what. Or at least if they're going to buy it, they're going to buy it at an extreme discount months down the line and move on to other products. Then not only will Warner Brothers learn his lesson, not only will Steam learn his lesson, but I think other companies are going to go like, oh, wait a minute, we do have to deliver a complete product. Otherwise, we're going to end up with another Unity. We're going to end up with another Batman. Or in the case of Destiny, a Revolt, because you're literally charging $80 for literally absolutely nothing. This might be a sea change. Might. No promises there. Where companies that do the right thing, like GOG, like CD Projekt Red, get the business they need, while those companies that keep treating games as sort of an open-ended commitment one-way open-ended commitment where just a player just give them money, for weeks, months, and years without really giving anything in return, will have to change there too. Is it going to happen? Well, the problem is that players, especially PC players, have very short memories. So we'll have to see. But here's to hoping. And hooray for Steam having a refund policy. That was a good thing. Good on you. Sure, you were probably pressured on it by the Australian and EU governments. But hey, everybody's a winner. Except for Warner Brothers, who should have known better. That's all for me for now. As always, please comment and subscribe. And I'll see you when I see you. Good night.